Okay, the final item of business this evening is the members' business debate on motion 18736 in the name of Fulton McGregor on commending Give Blood for Good's efforts to secure Scotland's blood supply. The debate will be concluded without any questions being put. I'd invite members wishing to participate to press the request to speak buttons, and I call on Fulton McGregor to open the debate. Around 7 minutes. Mr McGregor.
Officer, I would like to start by thanking the members who have supported this motion. I'd also like to thank the Minister and the Government as a whole for engaging with myself on this matter and for offering to meet with representatives from the organisation. And I'll just make a slight declaration at the start that I myself am a regular blood donor, and my next blood donation will be my 19th in total. It is a real honour, Presiding Officer, to lead today's debate and to shine a light on the brilliant work of Give Blood for Good, or GB4G. Building on the concerns I raised previously in this chamber about the future of blood donation and the essential role of the Scottish Blood Transfusion Service, I return to this issue to highlight the inspiring work of Give Blood for Good, which is mobilising the next generation of donors. I want to thank Hannah Smith and Martha Greenbank for founding this remarkable charity in 2019, in memory of Hannah's brother Patrick Smith, an Edinburgh student whose life was cut tragically short at just 21. Patrick was a proper champion. From the day he turned 17, the youngest age you can donate, he was first in line, sleeves rolled up, encouraging everyone around him to do the same. After his sudden death in 2019, his family grieved, but also built a lasting foundation. GB4G was created to carry Patrick's passion forward by inspiring more young people to donate blood, and in doing so save lives. Let me paint the picture. At the very first blood drive held in Patrick's name, more than 150 people turned up. That's a big deal. Across the UK, most 18 to 24-year-olds have never donated, fear being one of the biggest reasons why. Only a small percentage of adults give blood regularly, and in Scotland alone, we lost over 13,000 donors in 2021 in the wake of the pandemic. That kind of drop puts serious strain on the NHS, and that's where GB4G comes in, making it easier to show up, to feel safe and to get involved. Blood donation keeps our NHS going. One donation can be the difference between life and death for someone in urgent need. Every single donation can save or improve up to 3 lives. Think about that, 3 families given hope. Whether it's a mum in labour, a crash survivor, or someone battling cancer or sickle cell disease, this matters. These are real people facing real emergencies, and our hospitals depend on that generosity every day. When blood runs low, operations are pushed back and lives are put at risk. Since GB4G launched, their donors have saved or improved an estimated 16,362 lives, and that impact continues. With just this week in my constituency, there was a local blood donation drive. These actions make a local and meaningful difference to the trajectory of blood donation across the country. At the heart of the group's work is the Young Ambassador Programme, or YAP, and it's genuinely inspiring. Piloted in schools like the Glasgow Academy, it gets young people fired up about donation before they're even old enough to give. Through e-learning on blood types and transfusion needs and hands-on activities, these students become real advocates. In that pilot, 15 S5 and S6 pupils turned their school into a hub of awareness. This is also about building practical skills, including leadership and teamwork, where young people grow and make a real difference. These young ambassadors walk away with CV gold, and they're saving lives along the way. And it doesn't stop there. GB4G's Bloody Brilliant University squad secured nearly 1,000 pledges last year, 64% from first-time donors. One campaign for a young woman who needed over 100 transfusions during leukaemia treatment gathered 230 pledges alone, including 116 new donors, potentially saving 690 lives. We should also recognise Ollie Smith, Patrick's brother and Glasgow Warriors star, who became GB4G's first official ambassador in May 24. He's out there visiting schools and putting up social media, telling young people Patrick's passion was infectious. Let's keep it going. GB4G is also changing the way people think about blood donation. In October 24, they teamed up with We Donate, a platform that offers perks and rewards to regular donors through brand partnerships. This isn't just a nice extra, it helps fund youth-focused programmes like YAP and Unisquads, and more importantly, it turns donation into a habit rather than a one-off act. As co-founder Martha Greenbank put it, we are making giving blood as normal as recycling, because lives depend on it. And the need couldn't be clearer. Right now, 55% of active blood donors in Scotland are aged 45 and over. The youngest age group, 17-24, remains the least represented. The numbers are stark. 70% of 18 to 24-year-olds have never donated, and just 11% give blood regularly. That gap isn't just a statistic, it's a real risk to the future of our blood supply. The core objective here is to work on all numbers to increase, but the youth, and we are seeing positive signs, but this does stem from education. There are important signs of hope. Thanks to effective targeted education and outreach, almost 1,000 young people pledged to donate through university programmes in the past academic year. Many of them were first-time donors who might never have considered it before. That kind of progress shows what's possible with the right approach. Here in our own communities, the opportunity is even greater. Rolling out YAP in local schools could create a long-term pipeline of donors, people who understand the importance of donation early on and carry that commitment into adulthood. Where maternity wards, A&Es and treatment centres rely on a steady supply of blood, we can't afford to leave that to chance. By investing in education and making donation a normal part of life, GB4G is laying the foundation for a more resilient system, one that doesn't leave anyone behind. But, Presiding Officer, to make that progress sustainable, we need a clear and proactive commitment from Government. So I call on Ministers to work with GB4G and the Scottish Blood National Transfusion Service to formally integrate the Young Ambassador programme into the school curriculum. I appreciate that this is maybe not this particular Minister's remit, but I do believe that early education is key, and we need to encourage blood donation as a civic responsibility as well as a medical one. And furthermore, the Government should support and expand youth-led blood donation initiatives with dedicated funding, ensuring programmes like the University Squads and community blood drives can scale up and reach more people. This means providing resources for outreach, marketing and partnership building with local authorities and educational institutions. And I also urge the Minister to promote blood donation as a public health priority with a national campaign that targets younger demographics directly, dispelling fears, misconceptions and making donating a routine part of life, of course, where it is appropriate for the individual to do so, because, as we know, and I haven't mentioned yet, there is obviously people who can't donate. Finally, local councils and public bodies should be encouraged to facilitate donation opportunities by providing accessible venues and time-off policies for workers to give blood. The Scottish Government can lead by example by ensuring its own employees have the flexibility to donate during working hours. In closing, Presiding Officer, I invite all members to visit giveblood4, as in the number 4, good.org. Pledge to donate, encourage their schools to join YAP and bring this message back to their communities, friends, families and constituents. Let's honour Patrick not just with words but with action. Donate, educate, save lives. In Scotland, generosity runs deep. Let's keep that spirit and the hope it brings flowing, starting today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr McGregor. We move to the open debate. I call first Paul McLennan, to be followed by Oliver Mundell. Around 4 minutes. Mr McLennan.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. And can I apologise to yourself and the Chamber for having to leave before the end of the debate this evening. Can I thank Fulton McGregor for bringing forward this debate tonight. As he said, Give Blood for Good is a Scottish registered charity that works to improve blood donation and participation by increasing awareness and education amongst young adults, in particular breaking down misconceptions and empowering people to become regular donors. Now, obviously, this involves collaboration with schools and universities. Fulton had mentioned outreach through student ambassadors, sharing donor and recipient stories and organising community events, all aimed at fostering a culture where blood donation is a regular and respected part of young people's lives. They run a Young Ambassador programme where students lead awareness and donation initiatives within their own universities. The charity was founded, as said before, in memory of Patrick Smith, a keen swimmer who was involved in Edinburgh University Swimming and Water Polo Club, and I know that was a passion of his. It was set up in 2019 in memory of Patrick, and Patrick was extremely passionate about blood donation, so much that he gave his first blood as soon as he was able to on his 17th birthday. Every time Patrick donated, he would advocate how important it was to do so and would encourage his friends and family members to give blood at every opportunity he had. Following a blood drive in his honour, where over 150 people donated blood, they realised that over 60% of people who took part had never given blood before, most of whom were young adults and had no intentions to do so in the future. From further research in an NHS statistic where 81% of 18 to 24-year-olds in the UK had never donated blood, with 35% of this age group admitting They were scared. Now, my mum has been donating blood for many years. The blood donation unit would visit Dunbar Grammar School every so often, and she would always visit. I've been giving blood for a number of years. Also, in the last few years, I've been starting to donate platelets. Now, my daughter started giving blood as well when she was just in her early years, just over 17 as well, and now donate platelets as well. So we often debate who has the better platelets. Now, she knows it's me, of course. So it's 3 generations of the family donating, and that's the importance of starting to donate as early as possible. And just to build on some of the points that Mr McGregor mentioned, only 4% of people actually donate. Only 4% of people in Scotland donate blood who are eligible to do so. There are many reasons why people cannot donate, which it makes it even more important to do so when you can. So every time you give blood, you can save up to 3 lives of 3 people. All blood donations are separated into 3 components: red blood cells, plasma and platelets. One blood donation can save or improve the lives of up to 3 people. That means that exact products can be given to those who need them, while ensuring none of your blood donation goes to waste. 400 new donors are needed every single day to meet the demand of blood in the UK. Adults and children who suffer from anemia, cancer and blood disorders are dependent on regular blood donations. Most cannot survive without them. Every minute, 4 units of blood are issued to UK hospitals to help patients. Blood donations are also needed for people who require major and emergency surgeries, including blood loss after childbirth. 5,000 people need to give blood every single day to meet this demand. You can donate once you're 17. Over half of regular blood donors are over the age of 45. We need more and young diverse donors to donate. As soon as you're 17, you're eligible to donate blood. And women aged 17 to 34 are twice as likely to donate than men the same age. Men tend to have more iron and higher platelet count than women, meaning they can donate more regularly. Furthermore, only men's blood can be used for blood transfusions in newborn babies, highlighting why we need more men to regularly donate. So the clear message is today: book an appointment today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr McLennan. And I call Oliver Mundell to be followed by Carol Mochan. Around 4 minutes.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. And can I firstly start by congratulating Fulton McGregor on securing this important debate. I always enjoy his member business debates and the campaigns he works on, because not only does he bring the problem to the Chamber, but often he brings the solutions as well. And I would strongly associate myself with the calls he's made on the government. They all seem reasonable, practical steps that could make a real difference. It's also a pleasure to follow on from Paul McLennan, and what he has done tonight is inspire me to get on and book an appointment to give blood myself. I was a regular blood donor in the past. I started giving blood whilst at school, and then probably exactly as Fulton McGregor mentioned, I'll be one of those people that just got out of the way of it during the pandemic. I think I've been once since, but it seems whilst it's obviously worthwhile and important to contribute in this debate and to encourage the government to act, I think those of us who can should be looking to roll up our sleeves. And I reflect on the fact I've not myself been good at doing that. And therefore, I'm very grateful to the 112,251 active donors in Scotland who do make that time. But as we've heard already, we're still facing ongoing donation shortages, and that's why it's really important that organisations like Give Blood for Good play their important role in raising awareness. And we also have to recognise their ability to reach out in a different way. I think in the past, many of these initiatives have been based on adverts, during television programmes or something on the back of a bus, or that someone would, pick up a little flyer that had come through the door, or that people would hear through word of mouth. And I think it's understanding, if we want to reach young people, if we want to get a new audience, then you have to meet people where they are. And that's what's, I think, so good and inspiring about this initiative, is it's recognising the need to do that underlying work. As we've already heard, giving blood is life-changing, both for the donor and the person receiving blood. And we've heard in both speeches so far about the range of people who need blood, often unexpectedly, after an operation, around complications in childbirth or a serious accident. Thinking it could be a child battling cancer or the victim of a car crash. In any of these circumstances, if we found ourselves or our family in those situations, we would be absolutely desperate to know that a blood transfusion would be available, but that relies upon each and every one of us playing our part. I think it's interesting reflecting on this area as well, recognising that in other parts of medicine lots of new treatments have come forward. There have been lots of medical advances leading to different types of care. But blood itself is not something that can be manufactured en masse. There's no laboratory that can step in and do this. The one source that's available of this life-preserving fluid is us ourselves. And I think that's what makes blood donation and increasing the number of blood donors so important. And that's why I think the steps that have been outlined should be taken. I also, just as I close, Presiding Officer, wanted to take a second to pay tribute to the friends and family of Patrick, whose example stands as an inspiration to us all. And I think they can take a great deal of comfort in the organisation that's grown around him, and the number of lives, as Fulton McGregor set out, that have potentially been saved. And I think that I hope when we hear from the Minister that at least some of the points Fulton McGregor has set out are things the Government can act on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Mundell. And we now call the final speaker in the open debate, Carol Mochan, again around 4 minutes. Ms Mochan.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. And can I apologise that I'm not in the chamber this evening with the change of business, but like others, I so wanted to speak in this debate, and I really thank Fulton McGregor for bringing this important debate to the chamber. And I join him and others in commending the work of Give Blood for Good, which has done a great deal, as we've heard, to encourage young people to donate blood. Would also like to thank all those who continue to come forward and donate. Donations make sure that hospitals continue to have a good supply of blood. We've heard that demand can be really unpredictable, and blood has a very short shelf life, so there's no such thing as too many donors. Blood is always in high demand. We must never underestimate the impact a single donation can make. And stated in today's motion, each blood donation has the potential to save or improve up to 3 lives, as other members have said. This is why we must continue to champion and celebrate the work of organisations and charities such as Give Blood for Good, which help raise awareness of the difference one donation can make. Give Blood for Good was first established, as we've heard, when it became clear that there was a gap in young people's awareness and education around giving blood. Many were not fully informed on the life-changing impact blood donations can have, and Give Blood for Good sets out to change this. Through innovative innovations, they have worked to improve young people's education and understanding to encourage as many as possible to donate. The Young Ambassador programme helps to break down the fears and misconceptions commonly associated with donating blood. It educates young people when they are still at school, allowing them to be well informed before they turn 17. Really key. At 17, this is the age at which you can make your first donation. So understanding that before that is so essential. I'm pleased that the Parliament is recognising the work of Give Blood for Good, and that through this debate we can continue to support this work. As highlighted by others in the chamber, blood donations can be real life-changing and an easy way to help others. And as Oliver Mundell indicated, we should put ourselves in that place as well, and as many members as possible in the chamber who can should donate blood. Whether the blood is used to treat cancer patients or to save those who have lost blood through an accident, surgery or childbirth, donations just have that real power to save life. When researching for this debate, it was heartwarming to read the personal stories of those who have received a blood donation. Many testimonies highlighted the impact of strangers' generosity and kindness, and this comes from those who received the blood and from their families as well. In just 1 hour, we have the power to transform a life. I recognise how busy day-to-day life can be, but I hope today's debate allows us to pause, reflect and remember the difference a donation can make, and think about speaking to others about this issue. Supporting public awareness of this difference is important, and I hope that the government can speak to the ongoing work it is doing to support this charity and others to help with this awareness. In closing, I would like to thank everybody who contributed to the debate, and of course to all those in the Scottish National Blood Transfusion Service who work tirelessly with our NHS to continue to make sure we have a high quality supply of blood, tissues and cells every day. And again, I just want to thank Give Blood for Good for all the work that they do in Patrick Smith's name, and again thank you for the contributions tonight.
Thank you, Ms Mochan. Can I add my thanks to the Transfusion Service for making a return visit to Orkney for the first time in 16 years earlier this year, allowing me to donate at home rather than down in Edinburgh. And with that, I invite Marie Todd to respond to the debate. Around 7 minutes, Minister.
Many thanks, Presiding Officer. As Highland and Islanders do find it easier to donate down here in Edinburgh. I'm speaking today on behalf of the Minister for Public Health and Women's Health, who is unable to be here. Following on from the debate on organ and tissue donation last Thursday evening, I also welcome the opportunity for this debate on blood donation. The debate gives us an opportunity to pay tribute to the work of the Scottish National Blood Transfusion Service, or SNBTS, which also carries out important work in tissues and stem cell donation, some of which we heard about last week. The debate has also enabled us to highlight the really important supporting role that can be played by charities such as Give Blood for Good in encouraging young people to donate blood. And I'd like to thank members for their contributions, and in particular Fulton McGregor for tabling this motion. The key priority of SNBTS is to ensure that the NHS has enough blood to meet the transfusion needs of patients in Scotland. The NHS needs a continuous supply of blood and platelets to keep cancer care, maternity wards, accident and emergency and other life-saving services running. And when you give blood, your donation is split into 3 separate parts: red cells, platelets and plasma. That means 1 hour out of your day can help to save or improve the lives of up to 3 separate people. To be ready to help Scotland's patients in this way, SNBTS aims to retain 5 to 7 days of stock for each blood type at any time. And to be able to do that, SNBTS relies absolutely on the generosity of the almost 93,670 active blood donors in Scotland, who between them have made 161,536 donor attendances in Scotland in the past 12 months. Now, depending on hospital demand, SNBTS aims to welcome 483 donors every day. Every day, therefore, blood donors save or improve the lives of people across Scotland. Now, as of today, blood stocks in Scotland are at satisfactory levels for all blood groups, which is only the case thanks to the work of SNBTS and the contributions of all our donors. But blood stocks can fluctuate, particularly over holiday periods, and that's why it's really important to encourage people who can donate to attend blood donation sessions. Now, everyone can do their bit in this respect. I myself donated blood in February and September this year at the Edinburgh Donor Centre. I can assure colleagues it's just along the road. It's a less than 10-minute cycle away, and it's open till 7 on our sitting days, helpfully. The Cabinet Secretary for Health and Social Care also donated blood in January this year. And the timing of that visit was really useful because it enabled the Cabinet Secretary to support SNBTS's blood drive over the winter months. Patients need life-saving blood all year round, and as we all know, the NHS doesn't stop over winter. The Cabinet Secretary was able to meet the donor carers and nurses at the centre, along with some of the donors, and to visit a plasmapheresis donor suite. SNBTS also has donation centres in Glasgow, Aberdeen, Dundee, Inverness, and it runs many community sessions across the country. Donors are asked to make an appointment to give blood to ensure that SNBTS can help patients better. Managing the number of donors at each session enables SNBTS to monitor expected stocks of different blood types in advance and adjust plans if needed. And the aim of these arrangements is to make it as easy as possible to donate blood. In addition to blood, SNBTS is now asking people to donate blood plasma, which is used to produce certain medicines. These medicines can be used to treat over 50 diseases, including autoimmune diseases and babies with hemolytic disease. There are currently 1,191 plasma donors in Scotland, and SNBTS hopes to welcome another 1,000 new plasma donors over the course of 2025. Plasma can be donated in any of SNBTS's blood donor centres. Now, to commemorate World Blood Day this year, the Minister for Public Health and Women's Health visited the Haemophilia, Thrombosis and Immunology Unit at the Royal Infirmary of Edinburgh in June. That visit showcased the importance of SNBTS's Plasma for Medicines programme, which has been funded by the Scottish Government. During the visit, Ms Minto was able to hear directly from both clinicians and from patients about the importance of these medicines and noted that the visit was very useful in promoting the need for more plasma donors. SNBTS saw a decrease, as others have said, in the number of people donating blood following the COVID-19 pandemic. Donor numbers have now begun to rise again, but more donors are indeed still needed to ensure that they can maintain blood supplies at safe levels. New young donors are particularly needed to ensure a sustainable future for the blood donor base in Scotland. Certainly.
Fulton McGregor.
Yeah, I thank the Minister for taking intervention. I just wonder, it was something that came up in my discussion with the group. For new blood donors, is there any discussions with SBNTS about possibly allowing smaller donations? Because I know it has to be a pint, and I know there's quite a lot of rules around that, but maybe getting people in to give smaller donations, at least the first couple, will ease people in, because a pint can be quite off-putting for a lot of young first-time donors.
Minister. I could certainly discuss that with them. I'll ask Jenny Minto to raise that with them when she's in regular communication with SNBTS. I can imagine there would be challenges with adjusting the size of the collection, and I can assure you, I'm somebody who regularly gives blood. You don't miss it at all. A pint can easily go without feeling any impact whatsoever, and I guess maybe reassurance is what's required rather than an adjustment in the process. In line with lots of global blood donor services, Scotland faces an ageing donor base. So, as others have said, 55% of Scotland's active donor base are now aged 45 or over. Donors aged 17 to 24 are the smallest group of active donors in Scotland. So SNBTS already does excellent work with schools and colleges and universities. They also have a formal school talk programme, and they've delivered 84 school talks in the past year, delivering their message to almost 5,000 young people. This has directly resulted in over 1,000 donors from S5 and S6 in schools in Scotland, and these efforts have resulted in donor registrations from people aged 24 and under, increasing by up to 30% in the last 12 months. But we can always do more, and that's why I welcome the contribution of charities like Give Blood for Good. As we've heard, Give Blood for Good has been doing excellent work since they were set up in 2019 in memory of Patrick Smith. I'd like to offer my warmest condolences to friends and families of Patrick, who was such a passionate advocate for blood donation and who has had such a big influence since his passing. Give Blood for Good works in close consultation and has really good relations with SNBTS, which I commend. I'd also like to pay particular tribute to their Young Ambassador programme and the way in which it uses e-learning to help 5th and 6th year students learn about the life-saving importance of blood donation. It's particularly important that we continue to attract young people to donate blood, and as such I very much welcome the supporting work that Give Blood for Good is doing. I understand that the Minister for Public Health and Women's Health will be meeting the organisation in the coming weeks to progress this further. Let me assure colleagues that this particular target demographic we are really keen to reach, and we'd be very happy to work with Give Blood for Good to maximise their impact. So, to conclude, the patients who receive blood donations can't thank the donors personally. So, on their behalf and on behalf of the Minister for Public Health and Women's Health, I'd like to say thank you to all donors. This crucial service couldn't operate without the wonderful blood donors, and I'd encourage anyone who's eligible to give blood to get along and do it. The debate today has made a really important contribution to supporting the service. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. And with an hour and a half before point of order, Oliver Mundell.
Apologies for delaying you, Presiding Officer, and other colleagues longer than necessary. I realise I'd inadvertently used the wrong pre-COVID figure for the number of blood donors in my speech. I just wanted to make the members present aware of that, and apologies. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Mundell. That does indeed conclude the debate, and I close this meeting of Parliament.